it is time now to move on to Carolina. And it's a little bit of a risk. I was reading that Peter King article that I love, Football Monday in America. He used to do that. It doesn't matter. But Peter King writes it every Monday. It's really long. It's really good. It's just a wrap-up of all the NFL action. And it was all about Jameis Winston at the beginning. And Peter's talking to Winston on the phone, and Winston's telling about how, my favorite play was actually this throwaway, and it's a whole deal. It's a great piece to check out. But at the end of it, you can hear Sean Payton in the background being like, yo, chill, it's just one game. Don't eat the cheese. So that is the message today, right? Saban has rat poison. Sean Payton has don't eat the cheese. He has done the very football guy move, Jake, in the past of literally putting mousetraps into players' lockers to reinforce the don't eat the cheese the don't eat the cheese mantra. Yeah. Have you ever had a coach do anything like that? I mean, I remember there was like who's the old Vikings coach? It was Zimmer. No, still the Vikings coach. I remember Zimmer one time, I think, put like a bunch of like bloody and slaughtered looking stuffed animals all around the locker to be like fat cats get slaughtered or something. Like, did any coach ever try anything like that with y'all?
No, the only time I can even think, I think Foxy in Denver one time like put like little fake medals in our locker. He's like, well, y'all have already been crowned champions, so I figured I'd give y'all medals, like that type stuff.
Yes.
But knowing Foxy was just more like just trying to like jab at us a little bit. But that was like the only thing that I've ever kind of had that's similar.
Yeah, so that's the message today, right? Don't eat the cheese. Stay hungry, because the second you take that cheese, that bar snaps down and snaps your vertebrae in half, and you're dead. Okay. Whoa. So don't. Yeah, we're getting real today. So and look, really, why you're like, well, why are you telling me that, dude? I don't play. You're right. I don't play either, right? I guess the point is, to me, don't expect it to go as smoothly every week as it went on Sunday, right? And everybody knows this, but Sunday was incredible. It was a perfect game. You almost had no stress whatsoever, like especially now in the second half, and everything went well. Your second-round pick corner comes up with a pick. Marcus Davenport looks dominant, finally breaking through. Jameis Winston answers all your prayers and then some. Like, you just looked so strong all across the board. It is not going to be that week in and week out. You could go get your ass kicked by the Panthers potentially this weekend. But even that, in the same way, would not be a destiny, right? So you want to stay a bit even keel. Keep your expectations in check for this Sunday with Carolina. I guess one of my fears, Jake, is I feel like Jameis Winston's going to come out there and look human or good and maybe not great, and everybody's going to be like, oh, they're going to rubber band so far back the other way that it's be like, oh, Jameis sucks, and we knew this, and that one game was just the exception, blah, blah, blah. No. Let's just, let's take this one thing at a time.
I like the spot that the Saints are in, though, and it doesn't matter that they're on the road because all of their games are going to be on the road for, obviously the opening week, this week, and the next week, and the Saints are used to handling that. So when you go back and you watch what Carolina did a week ago against the Jets, wasn't really impressive. They win the game 19-14, but it wasn't really overly impressive. They kind of stuttered there in the red zone when they could have scored touchdowns. They scored field goals. And I know a lot of people are talking about the effect that Joe Brady has and how much he knows the Saints. Do you not think the Saints know who Joe Brady is?
Yeah,
you can't have one without the other.
Yeah, I mean,
he's running a version of what they do in New Orleans.
Exactly.
So they're going to know that as well.
I mean, Sean Payton has been painfully clear about that in the past, where he has talked about, like, he had a lot of subtle jabs during LSU's 2019 run where, people be asking me, like, isn't it amazing what Joe Brady's doing? Or something. And he'd be like, yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting seeing those plays that, we taught him. Or it was something like, oh, yeah, I've seen those plays before because I made them. Like, I invented them, literally. Like all those route combinations and concepts and the triangles that Joe Brady, the sail concepts, go look at Nick Underhill does a great job in his film breakdown on New Orleans football, but how Joe Brady stresses the defense at the different levels. This is nothing too unique, but yeah, Sean Payton is the OG in that regard. And so this very much is the Padawan trying to get one over on the master. And I just don't think it's going to happen this week. And we'll see. One thing I do like from a matchup standpoint, Jake, if we're just going to start to flirt with this Panthers-Saints match game, is Christian McCaffrey's obviously incredible.
Yeah.
Him and Alvin Kamara. First off, watching him and Alvin Kamara in the same game, what a treat for us football fans. But I came away very bullish on this Saints linebacking crew. I mean, we already know Demario Davis is a beast. Quan didn't look like he lost a step. Zach Bond looks like he has taken a big step.
Yeah.
And so I wonder, can they – I mean, I don't know if you can ever hope to shut down McCaffrey fully, but can this Saints linebacking crew – how do they match up with the C-Mac, do you think?
I mean, nobody's ever going to really have the advantage in that matchup because he's such a phenomenal player, but you've got some guys that are pretty good candidates to do so, right? Because you've got some linebackers that are uber athletic that can run, and Quan Alexander showed us he might even have a better speed than he had the year before. I mean, maybe it's a single-digit number,
crazy,
but he just looks fast out there. And obviously he's going to be tabbed into stopping Christian McCaffrey, which stopping Christian McCaffrey isn't like just shutting him down. Like stopping him is holding him to, something like 80 total yards. Like you would feel like you had a hell of a day if you were able to do that. So I'm sure Quan's going to have that assignment. I like what I saw from him last week. It's going to be a challenge for him, but he has the perfect skill set to try to slow down Christian McCaffrey.
And we'll see. I was thinking about this too. How did Demario Davis ever get out of New York? Like, what were they doing,
Jets.
dude? Exactly. Like, what are they doing?
We don't give the Jets enough grief for how bad they're run. We talk about the Raiders and the Browns for many, many years. The Jets are right there with them.
I mean, first it was Vilma.
I mean, the AFC Championship games they had with Mark Sanchez and Rex Ryan, like tip your cap how you found your way in that game. But it's just been all bad outside of that.
Yeah, before and after.
Yes.
That was just a lone little bright outpost among a sea of dreariness.
One of the weapons going back to the Panthers that I feel like they'll miss this year is Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel now with Washington. Mm-hmm. They used him in a very unique way last year. Joe Brady loved to have – he's obviously by trade a receiver, but he would line up everywhere. He got a lot of carries last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he turned himself into someone who was a rushing threat. And now you don't have that guy. We saw, DJ Moore got a carry in this game against the Jets, but he didn't have that guy. Outside of DJ Moore getting that one carry, Christian McCaffrey was the only other skill player that got a carry in this game. Right, so you only have one lead running back, and normally across the landscape you'll have at least like 3 or 4 guys that get carries. That was a big weapon for them a year ago. I wonder if he tries to find somebody else to do that, because that's certainly not Robbie Anderson's game. That's certainly not Terrace Marshall's game, right? DJ Moore gets one carry, but that's not his game either, so he doesn't really have that guy. Chuba Hubbard, the former Oklahoma State running back, he is there, but that's not his game either as far as what they want to do with Curtis Samuel. So I do feel like it's something that they're missing, and they don't have that guy on the roster right now.
And you've been pretty high on the Panthers' weapons all offseason, and rightfully so. I mean, just look at the numbers from last season. After week 1, I mean, it obviously feels like the Saints are better, but again, week 1 is always – there's going to be massive shifts in terms of from week 1 to week 2. But do you have a feeling on who you like early on? I mean, this Saints defense, I mean, Panthers weapons look great. And Sam Darnold looked pretty solid for the Panthers.
He did.
But this Saints defense looked really damn good the other day. I mean, another guy that flashed was Tannen Passanio, the former Chiefs' second-round pick, maybe first-round pick. Can't entirely remember. But they lined him up at nose in a lot of pass rush situations. Like, he had a big impact. Looks like he may have found second life here in New Orleans.
Yeah, one of the big key matchups in this contest is going to be Marshawn Lattimore, going to be ready for this contest? Is he going to be ready for the game? Because when you have so many weapons in the receiving game, and you have DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall, you have Christian McCaffrey, who obviously can do whatever you need him to do. You want to have as many available bodies there in the defensive backfield to be able to cover all of those weapons. So that's going to be a key matchup. Carolina last week, I thought they were successful offensively, but they just didn't score the points. They settled for 2 field goals instead of touchdowns, like I mentioned earlier, in the red area. Darnold was nice. I mean, he threw for 279 yards, but it was a lot of intermediate short passes, right? They didn't take the chances that I thought they'd take with him, with the receivers that they have, because when you look at, DJ Moore only averaging 13 yards per catch, Terrace Marshall only 8 yards per catch. Now, they did get the shot with Robbie Anderson, but I thought they would push the ball down the field a little bit more. I want to see if they continue to try to dink and dunk, or if they do change what they're doing.
Yeah, similar to what LSU's going through.
Whatever happened to Marcus Lattimore, by the way?
I think he's coaching somewhere.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
He's a beast.
He was so good. Those South Carolina teams were really good.
He was a dude.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
That's the only place my mind can go now.
As long as his knees are feeling okay. I mean, that's when you think about Lattimore, that's all I can think about. It's like you mentioned Mark Sanchez, and all of a sudden Butt fumbles all in the chat. Poor guy, dude. I mean, did he win a Heisman?
No.
He didn't?
No,
Sanchez didn't win a Heisman?
Uh-uh.
Are we sure?
I'm positive.
Liner did.
Liner did, yeah.
And Palmer did. But
Yes.
Sanchez won a natty.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
The last one they won.
Never mind. He
was
deserves
Liner,
to only
right?
be known for the butt fumble. There you go. All right. When we get back here on Off the Bench, I want to switch over to LSU. Brody Miller, the very good report in The Athletic, letting you know exactly what happened in the John Emery situation. Again, we'll hear from his attorney a bit later in the show as well. And let's do a little overpass on Central Michigan. Keep it locked here on Off the Bench.